Hi there, this is Nova. Welcome to the Singer Featherweight Tip of the Month for May 2020. I hope this finds you healthy and coping well with our changing world. I apologize that there was not a tip for April. We had a weather event here and we're without electricity for quite a while. Many of you know that I select topics for the tip of the month based on requests and on needs that I see based upon calls and emails. I've had repeated questions about the original Singer Featherweight foot controller and how to use it. Whatever is comfortable for you and works for you is what is best for you. A large number of my students use the foot controller turned around backwards, or at least to me it's backwards. For me it is more comfortable to have the button in front or closest to my body. I place my heel on the floor in front of the foot controller and the ball of my foot, the ball of my big toe on the button. The stationary button is there for a resting spot. So depressing the button is kind of a rocking motion back and forth. Kind of a rocking motion back and forth. Kind of like depressing an accelerator on a car. If you are successful and like it turned around the other direction, that's fine. For me, that position is very uncomfortable. With the foot controller in this position, that's very uncomfortable. I have a very hard time depressing the button that way and a very difficult time controlling the speed. My foot is in an uncomfortable position and an awkward position. Here's a page out of an original user's manual that I have enlarged to make it easier for you to see. While the manual does not specify the direction of the foot controller, the photograph shows the foot controller with the button in the front, just like I was demonstrating just a moment ago. Many of my students and customers dislike the button on the foot controller. They're not accustomed to finding that button, and that motion of making the machine go by rocking your foot is unfamiliar to them. They are accustomed to the full foot style foot controller like a Bernina controller. I carry a very nice electronic controller, this is it, that works very well with the Singer Featherweight, that is a full foot style. You might find that more comfortable. These foot controllers are available through the online shop on my website, novamontgomery.com, as are many other great products for your Singer Featherweight machine. Whatever works for you best is what is great. This is a reproduction foot controller that I do not care for. That's personal. I just personally don't like this foot controller. For me, there is not a comfortable way to put my foot on that and to press that foot controller, and I find that I have a very hard time controlling the speed with that unit. I much prefer the other electronic model that I carry in the online shop on my website. I prefer to sew with my shoes on. Many of my students and friends sew barefoot. Do whatever is comfortable for you. If you sew with your shoes on, be sure at the end of your sewing session to pick up your foot controller and feel it. It's going to feel warm because there's electricity running through it, so it will be warm. Warm is fine, but blistering hot is not fine. When the carbon resistance pack inside a Singer Featherweight foot controller is damaged, the foot controller can become hot enough to catch carpeting on fire. Therefore, always feel your foot controller when you are done sewing with it. If it is red hot, you will need to replace it with an electronic unit. You'll need to replace your foot controller with an electronic unit. Unfortunately, the carbon resistance pack inside the foot controller is not replaceable. And this is why I always tell my students to treat your foot controller like a china teacup. The interior parts are fragile and they are not replaceable. One other item that I carry that is quite handy is called the flapper jack. It turns the traditional style foot controller with the button into a full foot model. These are also available on my website, novamontgomery.com. Now, I would like to end my tip of the month with a thought to share with you. There is not one of us that has not been impacted in some way by COVID-19 and all the repercussions of this global pandemic. Quilters and stitchers are generally the nicest people in the world. So many of you have generously donated your fabric stash and your time to make masks to help keep the spread of the infection down. And for this I am genuinely grateful. But please remember to go out of your way to be kind. Always be kind, but especially now during this trying time. Give the other person the benefit of the doubt. You have no idea what is occurring in their life. Just be kind. It'll be well worth the effort. Happy stitching!